Friday Crypto back with another Bitcoin daily update. In this video, I'm going to focus on looking at the perspective of the bears and the perspective of the bulls, and then show you the importance of keeping it unbiased. And you just want to look for the proof in the charts, and whoever's winning, if you have more evidence for the bearish sentiment, then that's the way you should lean. If you have more evidence for the bullish sentiment, then that's the way you should lean. And anything else is just your emotions telling you otherwise. So follow the charts and you will do the best out of the majority of people. Okay, so let's get it going. Well, this is the daily chart. We're going to start at the daily. We're going to focus on the daily, and then we'll look briefly at the weekly as well to see a different perspective. Often helpful to look at multiple time frames. That will always be to your benefit. So looking at multiple time frames is key. Having said that, since we last made our video, a couple days ago back on Friday, we were up in here looking more bullish than ever, for a long time, right? We have our big fall down, and then we made our low, made a higher low, right? Made another higher low so far, but we've kind of fallen down since, last Friday, and now we're in, we're at kind of a pivotal point here. We're either going to, continue down the mountain, or we're going to print a higher low again and reverse again back to the upside, hopefully take out our high made back on July 8th, which was 22,490. So if we reverse anytime before down at these candles, around the 19.2 level, those odds increase. That's all you have in crypto is the odds. Nothing certain but uncertainty. So if we continue down and we reverse before this line, right? So we can draw that, right? We're looking at that level, right? Why? Well, because of the closing candle. That's our lowest closing candle since our low back on June 18th. So if we reverse before then, and what do I mean by reverse? Go back up, okay? Simple jack math. If you reverse before then your odds increase of us going back up and taking out this high. You want to continue marching up the stairs. Bulls jump out the window, bears climb up the stairs, right? It's just a slow process to recovery. So what's the next key level? Well, if we lose that, not necessarily a close, but say we wick down a little bit lower. Well, we want to be very careful of this wick right here, this low set on June 30th, 18.6. So if we go under that, the odds just go way up that we're probably going to be making a fresh local low. So lower than this, if we do that. To take this out so quickly would be a win for the bears, and we'd likely see some fresh lows. So be watching that. And if you don't have to remember those two levels, you could even draw your little zone here, right? If you're into this, I like zones a little bit better than harsh lines. There's not really any tough lines in the sand. I would look at more of his zones, right? So we're looking at the zone starting between 19.2 to maybe 18.5. If you see us under 18.5 on any time frame, we're probably in trouble, at least for the short time period. Okay, so remember that. All right, so now how about for another perspective? Well, we're looking at our downside. You might have seen this. A lot of people after the downside, right? You have kind of this low set, right? And then you got some other people drawing like this kind of move here, right? The ascending triangle, right? Which would obviously most times than not, this breaks to the upside. So we have that, but this is kind of more of a bullish bias, right? If you're a bull, this is what you'd want to be looking for, and maybe your bias is this. Most people's bias is bull, right? They want number to go up, right? So they only look at bullish things. So I invite you to see this and say that is a possibility, and validation would start to occur, around, low 19, right? Obviously, if we take this out, you got to, remove this pattern completely, right? Okay, so what about a different pattern? What if you're a bear and you say, no, that's not real. I got another pattern for you, and I have a better one. Say you're looking at something like this, right? Loosely drawn here. We're looking at, you can even draw it from the tops of the wicks if you want. Look like that, right? And then stop me if you recognize this pattern. Looking at this, right? Just drawing it quickly here. This is called a bear flag. You got that right. And we've seen this many times, right? You can even draw it kind of right here, right? Let's zoom this out. Sorry for my picture. Tried saving you some more picture by removing these prices that you normally see over here with all the other coins. So look at this. I mean, on the weekly, it was very obvious. Way back when, right? You got this to this. And then you could argue like, there's something like that, right? Then, bear flag fall down, right? Good job. Good job, Bears. On the weekly, you could see this play out in a big scale right back here, right? And we talked about this when this was occurring. Right here is a big bear flag, right? This is drawn out, and a lot of people are drawing this differently as well. So you could draw this like that, right? Or you have a rising, right? Higher highs, higher lows after a big downfall here. See this downfall, right? Look at that. Look now on the weekly, it doesn't look quite as obvious as this yet. It could be forming this, but on the daily, it looks similar to this, right? Look at that. So from a bearish point of view, bears could argue, whoops, let's undo that. Let's put it back on, right? So bears would argue that this could be a bearish flag, some kind of a bearish flag forming yet again. And guess what? When would this complete? Well, somewhere around, obviously if we break that low again, this would have a higher odds of playing out, something like that, right? This is based on your bias. And both of these have a legit shot of forming right now, right? You could be forming this bearish flag, not complete yet, right? But neither is the bullish ascending triangle, right? Look how quickly you can change your bias points of view. So be careful about who you're watching. Not just me. If someone's only ever presenting bullish videos, watch out. If someone's only presenting bearish videos, watch out. You need to be that you're fitting your own narrative, and that is very dangerous. How's that worked out well for you? In the past, right? You want to look at both sides of the coin. Put yourself in the bear claws, and put yourself in the bull horns. I don't know, something like that, right? You pretend you're on both sides. You're fighting, a referee, right? You want to decide. Referees should be unbiased. You should always be looking for the evidence, and the evidence right now is really a tough fought battle, which is why we're chopping more than not, which is why if you've been trying to trade this or day trade, you're getting stopped out a lot, myself included. It's difficult. This is a choppy market. You want decisive moves. So unfortunately, we just don't have it yet, right? So we're looking at, both sides of the coin, and we're trying to fit, what is going to potentially happen. So to sum up, this very exciting video is we want to be watching for a takeout of 19.2 to 18.5, right? Or a break above, 22.5. That's if you that's about as clear as mud. So we want to break that level or break roughly, this low, right? You could that's the extreme low that you don't want to break. That's the extreme high that you do want to break if you're a bear, and flip that if you're a bull. Or one or the other. Bulls go this way, bears go that way. Okay, so you get the point, right? These are your final pivot points. Much more bearish action likely if we take out 18.5. Much more bullish action likely if we take out 22.5. Right? Pretty good, pretty simple there. All right, so the weekly, really, what's your main point? If you're a big picture person and you don't really care about the date stuff, focus on the weekly chart. And until we get above said moving average, the 200, right? This orange line right here, the 200 week. Until you get above that, closing weekly candle above that, it's probably not going to turn macro bullish, right? You're obviously not going to be on the exact bottom if you're following that, but roughly, where are we now? So if we're 10% from it, would you care if you miss out on 10% of the first move? If Bitcoin's macro trending back up? No. Bitcoin must recover and close above the 200 week before the titanic bullish bull run kicks back off. And it's simply a ways away. You can see, last week we made a valiant effort, rejected exactly off of that line, right? Exactly. Pretty insane. So just be watching for that. That's not a good sign. On the bigger picture scale, we're not ready yet, right? The submarine has come up for air and we've hit the iceberg. Okay. We're not ready to break through the ice yet. But positive news on the bigger side, right? These lines, these moving average are starting to at least look like they're, trying to flatten out. My apologies for the crazy bad drawing tracer. Didn't do well in tracing. All right, so right here is, you can see how it's starting to kick off a little bit. So that is maybe a potential good sign, okay? So watch for that. Close above the 200 week, close above the 8 week EMA. That's the red one, which we've not closed above since right here, March 28th. Right there. That's the weekly closing candle. It's the last time we closed above the EMA 8. So look for those things. You want to close above both of these lines. And then on the bigger picture, you can get moving again. Until that happens, bearish is the word. And why bearish is the word? We're in a downtrend. The trend is your friend until the end. And so far, no end. Although we're trying to go sideways here, which is what you need to, kind of start building a bottom foundation. So we'll see. See what ends up happening. Hindsight's always 20/20. But, looking at this now, downtrend. All right, plain and simple. All right, quote of the day. You are remembered for the rules you break. I love that one. Simple, but think about it, and it's like, if you follow the book, you're just kind of average, right? Nobody in history that's done anything spectacular has done just like everyone else, right? If you're doing what everyone else does, it's going to be difficult to stand out, right? So just think about that. That's my interpretation. I love quotes because people can have different interpretations. So what's your? I just feel like that's kind of what he's talking about. Maybe you have a different interpretation. So that's that. And car of the day, Nissan GTR. Love that car. A lot of people's dream cars. That's kind of a realistic dream car, right? Maybe not a $3 million Bugatti Chiron. That's the dream car. I often refer to my kids like, what's your dream? Dream car, dream house. Everyone's got that. But then I have a dream, right? Just like, dream car versus the dream car would be like the Bugatti. Your dream car is, relatively attainable if you did well, pretty well, in your age 40 or 50, right? You're doing great. This will be relatively attainable, right? It's still over 6 figures, so most people are not, but that's why it's called the dream car, right? Then the dream is like your $1 million cars or, $300,000 Lamborghinis, whatever. Don't know why I went off on a tangent, but there's an orange one. Orange, I don't know what color I'd get. I like the red. I don't really like silver. My first real car was silver, so I don't want silver. Your first car was silver. You loved it. It was silver. Now I don't want silver. I don't know. I don't know about orange. I think the only car I could get in orange would be a McLaren because it's McLaren's color. We're going to go off on a tangent here. What's your favorite color? What would you get if you could pick? Right? Money's no object. What is your favorite? You only can pick the one color. You can't change for 10 years. What are you picking? I'd pick yellow on pretty much anything over 6 figures. 200K, right? You can get, now there's like freaking Chevy Suburbans over 100K. What are we doing? All right. I mean, we're looking at supercars 10 years ago were like 150K. Now we have Chevy Suburbans 150K. Jeep Wagoneer 150K. What are we doing, America? I mean, we're going to see, $1 million supercars soon. Shut up. Jeep Wagoneers for 150,000. That blew my mind when I saw that the other day. All right. We'll end up shutting down here. All right, I'll see you on the next video.